Houston attorney Tony Busby now says he represents 4 women accusing Deshaun Watson of assault. 2 civil lawsuits have been filed so far, both on behalf of massage therapists. Stephanie Whitfield has more on the allegations and the response from Watson.
2 masseuses have now filed civil lawsuits against Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson, accusing him of inappropriate behavior during sessions. The first alleged incident happened last March during a massage at the licensed therapist's Harris County home. The second lawsuit claims the football player flew in a masseuse from Atlanta, then allegedly assaulted her at the Houstonian hotel. Both lawsuits claim the football star committed civil assault by intentionally touching the women in an offensive way. High-profile attorney Tony Busby says he now represents 4 women. He didn't share details of the other 2 cases, only saying they involve assault too. After the first lawsuit was filed, Watson posted a statement on Twitter saying, "I have never treated any woman with anything other than the utmost respect." He says before filing suit, the plaintiff's lawyer made a baseless 6-figure settlement demand, which I quickly rejected. Watson says he's focused on clearing his name. There's, of course, a lot more to this story, including a statement from the Houston Texans. You can read that and all the details about this lawsuit on khou.com. Stephanie Whitfield, KHOU 11 News.